Hello, everyone, and welcome to the All Four Downs podcast. I'm OV1. I'm also the host of the HHW Show podcast. So if you like sports entertainment into wrestling, please subscribe to that channel. And of course, subscribe to this one, CMG Central, because this portion is All Four Downs podcast. We're covering the NFL and college football. It's a new season. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us, comment, and everything else because look, it is going to be fire this season. That's right. NFL, college football, road to the Super Bowl and national championship. It's going to be fabulous. And I want you all to join me and go with us along the ride as we cover each week of the NFL and college football. It's All Four Downs podcast. And since 2011, the New York Giants, the Washington Commanders, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Philadelphia Eagles, man, there's been ups and downs and everything else since that time. But the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles been having a winning record. As you can see on display there, the Cowboys 110 wins and the Eagles 104 wins. But only two teams have made it to the Super Bowl, and that is the New York Giants defeating the New England Patriots. The Eagles did the same thing, defeating the New England Patriots, but this off-coming season, they did lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. But 3 appearances only for the NFC East. Could we make it happen again this upcoming season? It's a long shot. But if you look at here, the Giants, the Commanders struggling. I mean, they both ended up in a tie this past season, but they're neck to neck down to the bottom. But the Giants were looking promising. Okay. The Commanders, not so much. I mean, only one was 4 or 5 seasons ago that they finished in first place with a 7-9 record and they didn't go anywhere. But the Cowboys and the Eagles are been trying to fight neck to neck to see who could represent the NFC East. And they struggled, but the Eagles, they capitalized with a new head coach. We'll talk about that more. But since then, the Giants 2 NFC East titles, the Commanders 3, and both the Eagles and the Cowboys both have 4 NFC East titles. So let's go ahead and let's talk about it. The Dallas Cowboys first. Looking at their schedule, they start off with the New York Giants, and then they go home and host the New York Jets. So back-to-back New York teams. Cowboy fans may think this might be an easy schedule, but it's not. I mean, you're talking about the Jets with the new quarterback with Aaron Rodgers, the New York Giants, who, man, all of a sudden became a winning team under Dable. I mean, there's so much going on here. But the biggest factor is can the Cowboys handle the Eagles? Pretty much, because, again, the Eagles are the defending NFC East champions, okay? And if you look at their schedule, it's a hard schedule because, again, look, you got the San Francisco 49ers, the New England Patriots with a new offensive coordinator, the Chargers, most of the time they're talked about, yes. The Rams are trying to make a comeback. The Carolina Panthers, they may be looking like they're rebuilding and stuff. And, of course, every NFC East team is going to be a rivalry game. Seattle, we're in the playoffs, okay? The Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, who are still collecting a lot of talent. And then, of course, don't sleep on the Detroit Lions, but ending the season against the Washington Commanders. This is a tough schedule for the Dallas Cowboys. And with Mike McCarthy, 30-20, 1-2 overall for the playoffs for the Cowboys. I mean, something's got to give for them, right? They got a brand new offensive coordinator of Brian Schottenheimer, and they keeping the defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. And on top of all that, you look at their talent that they have. Dak Prescott, who is probably going to make his big comeback, off season last season. And every time he makes a comeback, he always ends up throwing over 4,000 yards. But the downfall about that is that if he's throwing over 30 passes, more likely the winning percentage decreases. So they need the people like Tony Pollard to step up. They need CeeDee Lamb to get open to provide good passes from Prescott. Everything, man. I'm telling you. I believe that the Cowboys will bounce back to be even better, but it's going to be a tight race against the defending champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, there in the NFC East. But on the other side, Micah Parsons, who had 13 and a half sacks, he's going to step up. This guy's brilliant. This guy's talented. I mean, this guy's a machine. And then, of course, he's going to have Massey Smith, who is the rookie from Michigan, who is a defensive tackle. I think he's going to be, and I'm predicting that he may be the defensive rookie of the year because Massey Smith is that talented. And if you see his games with Michigan, going into the Cowboys and having a person like Micah Parsons on his side, he's going to do wonders. And I got a feeling that the Dallas Cowboys front men will do some damage against the offensive linemen of any team. Let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles here, where Nick Sirianni, who is 23-11, 2-2 overall, made it to the Super Bowl, but lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Their schedule just almost similar to the Cowboys, but this time they start off with the New England Patriots, which again with Mac Jones over there with the new offensive coordinator. Let's see what can they do there. I'm still predicting that the Eagles may win their first game. Sirianni has not lost at home a game opener pretty much. So that's, one little victory he could add on to it. But of course, they got the Minnesota, Tampa Bay, of course, again, the NFC rivalry East. And again, similar schedule, but this time they played the Kansas City Chiefs this season. And that's a Monday Night Football game on November 20th. And then, of course, they ended the season with the New York Giants. But they manhandled the Giants for the last couple of seasons. Could there be improvement for the Giants? Could it be a downfall for the Eagles? Because I'll tell you what, they have a new offensive coordinator of Brian Johnson, because their old coordinator went to become the head coach of the Colts, Shane Steichen. And then Jonathan Gannon, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals now, he leaves, so now Sean Desai is the new defensive coordinator. Could this team operate the same under these superstars like Jalen Hurts, who has a new extended contract, 4 years, totaling $255 million. They also got DeAndre Swift, from running back from the Detroit Lions, who played 3 seasons there. He replaces Miles Sanders, who end up going to the Carolina Panthers. And of course, Devontae Smith, who is a Heisman winner in college. I mean, he's getting talented every single year. Could that offense still be explosive? And on the other side, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, and Hanson Reddick. These guys were like the enforcer on the other side of that ball. Could they repeat and do it again? It's kind of hard in the NFC East because it's been a while since we've seen a team to repeat to become the NFC East champions. The New York Giants, 9-7-1 last year on their first year head coach Dable. They start off the season against the Dallas Cowboys, and it's going to be wonders, right? Could they be able to stop the talented Dallas Cowboys? Can they stop anyone in the NFC East? Yes, they did. They defeated the Washington. They ended up in a tie, and then they won against Washington. But that's not the case. The case is, can they handle the Cowboys and the Eagles? And if so, watch out, because the Giants are capable. Okay, they're capable. Most of their games were so close, but could they expand on it? Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley has been running that offense. Darren Waller is the newcomer coming from the Raiders. And on top of that, he is the tight end, but they also have another tight end of Daniel Bellinger, who is very talented, got a lot of hands, but missed a few games because the game against the Vikings, he had an eye injury pretty much, but he is back. And let's see if that offense could spark and expand, because I got a feeling that if Daniel Jones handles it by himself, if it becomes one-dimensional, two-dimensional between Jones and Barkley alone, the Giants are not really going to score that much, especially when you're going against the Cowboys and the Eagles. They got to do a lot more to make that balance. And all their coaches are back. Mike Kafka and Don Mattingdale, the defensive coordinator, they're all back. So they only could go up, as you may seem, right? Dexter Lawrence, Aziz Ojulari, and then a newcomer, first-round pick, cornerback Deontay Banks from Maryland. I hope that he is talented enough to handle against these all-star wide receivers, because the Giants really need defense of picking out balls and put pressure on quarterbacks. That's something that they lacked of, and yet there was again, there were some improvement of getting at the quarterback, but you're talking about an era where the NFL is changing, in which the quarterbacks these days can do both, throw and run. And of course, the Washington Commanders starting off their season against Arizona. Rivera is 22-27-1 with the organization. Overall, he is 98-90. The Commanders are going through a new leadership, new ownership, and it's going to happen very soon because it's officially the team is being sold. And could that make a difference? Because if the Commanders don't make the playoffs this year, I got a feeling that the whole entire coaching staff will be replaced. So, yeah, Ron Rivera and the whole entire staff, they should be on notice. And, of course, there's a lot of dilemmas here because they got a new offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy, who left the Kansas City Chiefs. I guess he's trying to make his name known that he is that talented to become a head coach because no one's hiring him. And he's a two-time Super Bowl champion as an offensive coordinator, but yet he still can't get a job, but everybody else is. Crazy. But you got Taylor Heineken, that guy's been given the spark for the offense. Then you have Jacoby Brissett, who is the backup quarterback, and Jake Fromm. But it's projected that Sam Howell, who is a graduate from North Carolina, may be the starting quarterback. You have Brian Robinson Jr., and the running back, and Terry McLaurin. These guys are talented, and under Eric Bieniemy, let's see what they can do with that offense. On the other side, you got Jamin Davis, Derek Forrest, and Chase Young. Hopefully Chase Young is healthy enough, but with defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio, I mean, that's a 50-50 because we have not yet seen an elite defense of the Washington Commanders. They've been giving up an average of over 300 points a season. That's not saying that Jack Del Rio is the answer because they need to stop their opponents, right? And so far, since I guess it's 2020, since Del Rio's been the defensive coordinator, they haven't been done much to stop any offense from scoring. There's been high-score games and stuff like that, and that's very important because defense does win championships. Here's my prediction. The Eagles are 12-5. Cowboys 10-7 tied with the New York Giants, but I got the Cowboys slightly ahead just because of the head-to-head and the opposing teams. So there's a lot of comparisons there. And the Washington Commanders at 5-12, which I also predict that 3 teams will make it to the playoffs, with the Cowboys and Giants being the wild card winners. I would love that. But it's kind of hard to say that if the Eagles do win the NFC East, they'll be the first team since 2001 and 2004, which they went 4 in a row and with nothing to show for during that time. Could the Cowboys make a big difference there? I got a feeling that they have a better chance to win the title than the Eagles. But again, it is close, very, very close. And it all depends, like always, man, when you make it to the top, the other teams are so hungry to chase after you. And for a small margin, hey, those are my picks. And I'm a Giants fan. And I'm still going to root for my Giants all the way to win the NFC East, but it's going to be a hard one, right? So those are my picks. That's my predictions for the NFC East. More to follow each and every week. I will make my prediction for each division. And you'll tell me, am I right or am I wrong? Who do you think is going to win the NFC East?